Welcome to These Are the Blades of Our Lives, the figure skating show where I talk to you about figure skating like it is drama for our mamas. Oh goodness, so much skating this week, this past week. So much skating. We had Osaka Grand Prix, we had Autumn Classic, and of course, not to be forgotten, Russian test skate. Oh, so much skating, I almost drowned in it. But let us start with recapping what went down in skating last week, starting with the Junior Grand Prix at Osaka. Honestly, the men event was nothing to write home about. My podium prediction was way off. I honestly thought it would be an easy win for Shunsuke Makamura. However, the short program for him was not clean, and the long program was hard to watch. Honestly, I think we need a referee in figure skating who stops the program after a major fall. The way that Nakamura's body hit the ice on his second fall literally had me holding my side. I really felt like he should not have continued the actual program. So, unlike what I predicted, the podium here for the men was Francois Pipot, who won the gold, Jun Young Lim from South Korea, the silver, and then a surprise American. I didn't even know the junior American men were performing so well, but Daniel Martinov, he ended up in the bronze. I can't honestly say that any of them really spoke to me. Then we went to the ice dance where my predictions were a little more close to what happened. The winners were, of course, Leah Nasset and Artem Makalov. This is their second win on the Junior Grand Prix, which means they're making it to the Junior Grand Prix final. However, the team that made the biggest impression on me was the silver medalist, Elizabeth Takshenko and Alexei Kilikov. I said in my prediction that Elizabeth was one of those dramatic ice dancers that you just love because she is giving you everything. This team is so interesting. I really hope they win their next Grand Prix so they could make it to the Grand Prix final because there is something there. There is something there, and I'm interested to see more. Then we got to the women. While the men was nothing to write home about, the women were another story. This was such a delightful surprise. Without any question, the winner here was Mao Shimada. While I still hope her team would take out the quad toe loop in the triple axel, obviously they're not. But even with those two Ultra C element, her jumps were easy, her spin beautiful, her presentation first rate, really loving the progress that Mao is making. But Mao was not the only skater who made an impression on me. We had Hannah Bath with her girthy jump, and you guys know how much I love a girthy jumper. Not consistent yet, doesn't have control, but oh boy, if she could get some control and consistency, those girthy jumps, I'm invested. Then we have Ru Chen Tong, who is just a lovely all around skater. She needs a little work on those jumps. The Chinese, those jumps are always just a little under rotated, but otherwise lovely. Then we had Ikura Kushida, beautiful, long, elegant skater. Very mature actually for a junior skater. Very well packaged. And then what about Yu Feng Sa Ta, who had the skate of her life? Welcome to the party, Chinese Taipei. She skated with so much heart and so much conviction that it was really nice to see. And nicely we had your Tagaki. What nice edge control and what good musicality. All of these young ladies they were out here giving us everything they had and more, and I truly enjoyed it. And then from Osaka, Japan, we made our way to Maple Country. That is right. Oh, Canada. Yes, we made our way to Canada for the Autumn Classic Internationals. Okay, from what I said before, that the Canadians, there is something in the water in Canada for the pairs. The new pair of Emmanuel Proof and Nicolas Nadeau looked really good for their second year together. This is a really well matched pair, and they managed to take away the bronze here, their first international medal. But poor Riku Miura and Ryuichi Kihara had a really hard first outing. Unfortunately, I'm not a fan of either their short or their free program. I don't understand why you would put such heavy, drab music on such happy, light skaters. Why are we giving them these depressing program when these are the musical skaters that you can see their spirits start to lift up as the music start to go up? They already said they're changing their short program, and I think that's a beautiful decision. Please do. Now, while Riku and Ryuichi had a hard first outing, the one and only Queen Diana Stiletto Dudoc and Maxine Deschamps had the outing of their career. The short program was foot perfect. Diana was eating ice. Diana was eating ice, but she wasn't done there. When it came time to the long, our girl was eating air. Every lift, every position, every arch, every extended toe. And let's not forget about our man Maxine, who was there showcasing her at every step of the way. Strong, silent, defending type. Oh my God, I am here for this pair, and they made away with the gold, which means they just beat the reigning world champion. That right there is a confidence booster. I cannot wait to see how this motivates them, where they take it, how far they take it. But I really hope this is their season. Then we got to the men, which was messy as to be expected. Men is always a hot mess. However, I really do believe the universe is all about balance. We finally had a clean program for Ilya Melanin in the short, and then Steven Gugolev. But to balance out their short program, nearly every other man in the short program was a hot mess. The universe believes in balance. The implosion was all over the place. But on a good note, starting with the bronze medal, we had Steven Gugolev. I'm so happy to see him putting things back together because he has had some really difficult past season. To start with, he was never a complete skater. He was always a jump, prodigy. And when those jumps went, there was just nothing left there for him. And now at least he's building back his jumps, and I hope his team takes the time to also fill in spins, steps, presentation, projection. They give him what he needs in those moments when the jumps are not there. At least he has something. Then we had the silver medalist, Kevin Amos. This was a rough short program for him. Honestly, I'm not sure where I stand on either his long or his short program. I have to see it a few more times before I make a decision. But as always, I love Kevin Amos and I always want him to do well. And then the winner was, of course, Ilya Melanin. This was an easy win for him. I will give credit where credit is due, and the effort is being made. You could see that his team heard the criticism, and they are actively trying to make progress. From his opening position in his short, to the way he tries to hold his movement, the way he's paying more attention to his spins, to the footwork, to the arch of his back. Is it 100% there yet? No. Is he putting in the effort? Is he trying? Absolutely. And for me, that is to be commended, and I commend him for it. Then we had some of the others. Sato Yamamoto. Ooh, rough outing. I felt for his knees because some of these falls, he literally fell right on his knees. Boying Jayne. Coming together nicely. Coming together nicely. Donovan Carrillo. Oh, so much potential. This was just not his outing, but the season is young, so we will wait and see what happened. Then we moved on to the ice dance. Ah, I thought Marie France had all the judges. Was that not what you said, Baba Puzapoli? But I guess Igor Spielban had even more judges than Marie France did. Because I was sitting there trying to understand how Ava Pate and Logan Bai won this. I'm going to be honest with you, this team is not my cup of tea. I can't even remember what they did in the long or the free program now that I'm talking about it. However, the judges seems to like them. US figure skating seems to like them. So I guess up they're going, but wasn't my cup of tea. The silver medalist again wasn't my cup of tea. Not really my team that I'm really gonna root for. Evgenia Loporova and Jeffrey Bassard. Nice team, tall, takes up space, elegant. Their program, don't speak to me. Now the bronze medalists. Hannah Len and Ye Kwan, I was here for. The short program was fun. The free was effortless. They were my team of the night. Len was giving us everything we want, everything I love in figure skating: extension, face, drama, tension. And then Ye was right there, being her foundation. I love this team and I cannot wait for their climb. And Korea, South Korea is not playing with getting their team together for the next Olympic. Now they just need a pair and we're cooking. Now, while this was not the outing that I was hoping for Olivia Smart and Tim Dyke, I'll figure out how to say his name. I still see the potential in this team. The rhythm dance outfit aside, ooh, Olivia, why? The program itself has potential. I feel like they just haven't had enough time to gel, to mesh, to work out the finer details. But I found it quite enjoyable. I'm waiting. And that free dance outfit, it more than made up for the rhythm dance one. Olivia came dressed like the queen that she is, and she was serving the peasants. Look, yes, I'm about that one piece suit. I just have to wait and see what happens as the season progresses. But if they continue, they could be a team to look at for Milan. We just have to wait and see. And then finally, the women. The women were mixed bags. Some good performances, some not so much. It was all over the place for me emotionally. Mona Shiba had a really rough first outing here. This is a shame because I really saw her as a contender this season. I hope this is a building experience that she learns from it, grows, and come back even stronger in her next competition, and that it doesn't become a roadblock for her. Then we had like Dabin Choi, a very serviceable skater. There's nothing offensive or memorable about her. A very serviceable skater. Audrey Chen has the most horrible leg wrap I have seen in a while. I mean, Shen has some lovely qualities to her skating. However, her leg wrap is so distracting that I could not focus on anything else, which is a shame. The podium was made up of Justine Miselet. Very nice skater. Technically speaking, she should not really be in the conversation. However, you never know when the other skaters will technically implode and a Canadian woman with a triple double combination finds herself on the podium, just like Justine found herself on that podium here. Then we had Kaya Reuter. While Kaya has the jumps, she has the tech to be competitive. Her jumps are unstable, and I feel like her getting on the podium will only happen when other skaters make mistakes. Honestly, I feel like they need to work on her skating skills, her spin, and her overall packaging to really make her a true contender. Because right now, she still comes off as a junior skater. Then, of course, we had our winner, Miss Kaori Sakamoto. This is the softer side of Kaori. This is her gentler period. And I'm happy to see her continual growth. This is what happened when you're going towards your third Olympic. This is what happened when your career doesn't end at 17. When you're allowed to experiment, to find new sides of you, to try new choreographers and grow. The short program really isn't my cup of tea. There's nothing memorable about it. Especially compared to her short program from last season, I'm not really a fan. But I do like the long though. I liked it more than I thought I would. There is something there. And I feel like as she grows into this program, because we know Kaori is the kind of skater that has to grow into her program, we might get something special at Worlds. Right now, she's still doing her triple flip double toe, but this is Kaori. This is her process. So I'm not really all that upset or concerned about where she is in her skating journey because she's a slow burner. So I'm not all that concerned. Now we finally get to the Russian cascade. And of course, Russia never fails to deliver the drama, the gory, the gonchi, the Russianness. So this year's Russian test skate, I'm going to start off with the pairs. Honestly, there was only 3 pairs that we really cared about. That was Anastasia Mishina and Alexander Galiemov. That was, of course, Alyona Kostanaya and Grigori Kusnitsa, her partner and husband, and Alexandra Baikova and Dmitry Koskovsky. Let us first talk about the drama between Mishina Galiemov and Baikova Koskovsky. You know me, I will be fair where fairness is called for. Baikova and Koskovsky won this. Baikova looks more confident than I have ever seen her look in her life. Now, we might say that's because of the grandpa juice that Etheri's feeding her. Whatever the case may be, she looked confident. Her throw is better than I've seen it. Her jumps are better than I've seen it. Their twist is better than I've seen it. Yeah, it took an entire village at the board to accomplish this, but Baikova and Koskovsky look good. They look like they've grown. They look like they've made progress. And I don't know who the choreographer of these programs are, but I was expecting something much more horrendous coming out of Danny G. So you know what? If it's not awful, I'm going to take it. As for Mishina and Galiemov, I love them. They seem like they're such a sweet, kind pair, but I haven't seen them made any progress from where they were at the Olympic to where they are now. They're still doing their elements. It still looks good. They're not a bad pair, but when you compare them to the progress that their competitor Baikova and Koskovsky have made, you could see the difference that Baikova and Koskovsky now have a small edge ahead of them. But this is a marathon and not a sprint. So we have to wait to see who makes it to the finish line when all is said and done. And now let us get to the Alyona. She was born to be a diva Kostanaya and her husband, Gregory Kutnitsa. Kutnitsa. First of all, our girl looked fabulous. That green outfit, I was here for it. Kostanaya was like, yes, let me show you peasants how you package, how it's done. Even in her simple black outfit for the free, she was serving looks. She was serving extension. She was serving face. She was eating it up. Now, are they competitive to the other Russian pairs? No, because Russian pair is a dynasty. I will say this. If the Russians were competing internationally, they would be holding the podium. They would be holding the Grand Prix. Would we all be screaming for everybody to be tested a bazillion times? Would we be asking for blood, urine, and hair? Yes. But that aside, you cannot deny the fact that Russian pair is a dynasty and they are so strong. Given that environment, where Kostanaya and her partner is right now, I would not say they are competitive. I would not say they're going to get on the podium. They would make it out of Russia. But then again, they have just gotten together and they have made so much progress in such a short time that I cannot help but think, maybe. I mean, as a human being, I pray to God that this war ends soon. I don't even understand why at this point in our history as humans, we still need to have wars. I really don't understand that. So I pray this war ends soon. And when the war ends, God willing, very soon, the Russians will come back to international competition. And in 3 years, in 2 years, who knows if this pair continues to grow where they can be. But honestly, I wish Kostanaya would jump ship. There are many countries who would love to have you, Kostanaya. Please. All of Eastern Europe is open. Pick one. Anyone. Please do. Then we moved on to the men. The men is such a hot mess, but I have such a fondness for the Russian men, despite the fact that they're such a hot mess. Starting off with Alexander Semerin. Oh my God, Semerin is growing. He is making progress. Do you remember how robotic Semerin was? Now he has personality on the ice. He has movement of his face and bodies. Is he now a complete skater? No. But is he a more enjoyable skater? Yes. Then we had Makar Ignatov being Makar Ignatov, which means a messed up short, half of a good free, and then a hot mess free. Gleb Luftin, whom I love the way he looks. Like he's one of those Mishan skater that you could tell takes the ballet classes and he enjoys it. Again, the consistency is not there, but when he does do his jumps, they're so beautiful. His back is so nice. He's such an elegant skater. And then from one Mishan skater to another extreme Mishan skater, we have Evgeni Semenenko. Every time I see him, I'm like, how is he a Mishan skater with that jump technique? But yet it works for him. I feel like Mishan was like, even I can't fix this. But it works for Semenenko. There's something gritty and street fighting about him that makes you want to root for him. Then, of course, we had Dmitry Aliev being Dmitry Aliev. Mark Kundadrik, really good outing. Despite the breakup, my man is working through his pain. He is creating art with his pain in the only way that Ice Jesus can. And of course, we had Peter Gumenik, my PD. I'm such a fan of Peter, but again, inconsistent. Again, ups and down. But when he does land his jumps, they're so lovely. Another skater who I wish would get better program because he has so much to show. But the range with which he's being given doesn't even give him room to do that. Then we moved on to Russian ice dance. Again, another showdown that I didn't quite know how it would go. And of course, that showdown was between Annabelle Morozov, her new partner Igor Eremenko, against Arina Karavona and David Narazim. For those of you who didn't know, David Narazim used to be Annabelle Morozov's partner, and I love that combination. They were great. But then David was like, nope, I want to skate with my girlfriend, broke up that partnership, didn't want to come to the U.S., and he chose to go skate with his girlfriend, Arina Karavnina. I'm sorry, guys. Annabelle Morozov, I love you. I'm rooting for you. But the partnership of Arina Karenina and David Marazim is a much better partnership. First of all, David is a really good male partner. His knee, his strength, his extension. And then Arena is no joke. With her old partner, you were always staring at her. Now with David, they just match so well. The short program, their lines were really good. Their edges, their flow. The free program, probably one of my favorite of what had to be offered. Again, effortless. The lifts were effortless. His knees look strong and deep into the ice. They have so much chemistry. They match. As for Annabelle and Igor, they look like a new partner. They look like they were still testing each other. They were still feeling things out. He's not as strong as a partner as David was. The lifts were a little shaky in places. His edges are a little shallow. He doesn't have that outgoing personality or the strong, silent, grr personality that David has. And I didn't really like either of their program. I thought I wanted to, but I'm going to give this outing to Arena and David. I'm sorry, Annabelle. Then, of course, we had the return of Alexandra Stefanova and Ivan Bukin. Again, you guys know I love Stefanova and Bukin. This outing was nothing special. The short program, not memorable. The free was a little better. Again, you could tell that they're just getting back. They're just finding their way. Nothing quite blending the way we want it to. But there's nothing bad either. As for the rest of the ice dancers, unfortunately, the Russian program is going through a very difficult period. And it's growing. Ice dance is to Russia what pairs is to the rest of the world, which basically means they need to get it back together. They lost so many of their pairs in terms of ice dance that they now have to rebuild. Honestly, the ice dance was nothing to write home about other than David and Arena. And then, of course, we lost my Vava couple. I'm not even going to talk about that anymore because it makes me so upset. We lost that couple. So yeah, there's not much to write home about in terms of like Russian ice dance. I'm sorry. And then finally we got to the women. Oh my goodness. First of all, Ekaterina and company assaulted my eyes with a Michael Jackson short, and then Plushenko finished them off with a Michael Jackson long. Why would you have a Michael Jackson long program? Why? I've said this many times. Michael Jackson needs to be banned from figure skating unless you're Junwa Cha. If you're not June, you should not be doing Michael Jackson. And most of Elvis needs to be banned too. And Plushenko and Ekaterina just confirmed this for me. Now to the ladies in the actual skating. I want to start out with Maya Kromek. There was no reason for Maya Kromek to be at that competition. Ekaterina and company want to act like they don't understand, like they don't know. They've had 10 years of evidence to show them that their technique can only be performed by those who are 66 pounds to 110 pounds. They know the minute that somebody gets beyond 110 pounds, they're going to need 5 heart medication, all the hormone suppressant that they can get. And it needs to be world-class hormone suppression and heart medication to get them to continue. They were not giving Maya Kromek 5 heart medication, puberty blockers, and the best hormone suppressant out there. And when that poor child got on that ice, it hurt me to watch it. Because the only reason they did that to her was so they could get more funding by having her on the national team. There was no reason to do that to that child. Her coming back from injury, no longer being the 66 to 110 pound. To me, that was just cruel. And the fact that Maya went before Elizaveta Tutamisheva, the fact that Tutamisheva came after Maya, and you saw the difference. This is somebody who's in their teens, and they could barely get their body to function. And you have someone in their 20s, because Elizaveta Tutamisheva has the mission technique, a technique that will last you from childhood to adulthood. Hell, Plushenko can still jump triples based on the Alexei Mishin technique. You saw Elizaveta Tutamisheva and her easy triple axel. It was like butter. Even though she didn't do any triple combination here, every triple that she did went up into the air smoothly and came down effortless. She wasn't hunched over. Her knees weren't being injured. Her hips weren't being destroyed. Her back wasn't being destroyed. And this is what I cannot understand with the Russian fans, and I wish you guys would explain this to me. If you have the technicians, you have the mission, even Plushenko that teaches the mission technique. If you have good, why would you allow your children to be destroyed and broken with the trashy technique that is Iteri? If you were another federation where you had no option, I would understand you opting to take the Iteri technique because you had nothing else. But you have a mission. You have a history of good jump technique. Why would you forgo that and put your children through this for that? Oh, I am open to try to understand it. So anyone who's listening to this who is Russian, who is a Russian figure skating fan who could explain this to me, I would love to hear it. I would love to hear how you could see a Myra Comet against Elizaveta Tuktamisheva and choose the technique that was forced on Maya Croman. Anyhow. Then we had Xenia Sitnisina, one of my favorite skaters. But all she did was double axels in her free program. Are they conserving the energy for the long, competitive season in Russia? Like, or is this like you didn't have to do your jump? I didn't understand this Russian test skate this year at all. We had like Anastasia Sitna, who had an injury last year. She's coming back. Last year she looked really unhealthy. This year she looks more healthy. She's fighting to get her jumps back. It was really nice to see. We had Alina Gobacheva still with that coach. I'm hoping she's back with her parents. It was an okay outing for her, but my concern about her emotional, physical safety really was the main thing in my mind. Veronica Zilina, again, uneven, inconsistent. That Michael Jackson program, offensive, Plushenko, offensive. Adelina Petrosian, again, that Michael Jackson program, Iteri, offensive. But I would have to say Adelina's jumps out of all the Iteri girls was the one that was rotated. You could actually count her rotations in the air. As opposed to a lot of the other skaters, you could not say the same. You could not say the same. Sofia Mureva, Murevia. I'm gonna have to learn you to say her name, Sophia. Another inconsistent outing for her, but her jumps based on the mission technique, so she probably will last. And then finally, Sofia Ekaterina only did the short program, I guess because she's coming back from injury. I guess thank you for small mercy that they didn't make her do both programs here. Give her a rest. And then, of course, finally, we got to Kamila Valieva. Much like Maya Kromek, this was hard to watch. Camilla's jumps were always cheated, much like all of that generation of Iteri skaters. Anna Sherbakova's jumps were cheated. Kamila Valieva's jumps were cheated, but never to this extent. She is clearly just doing doubles. You can only count 2 revolution in the air. She does a full pre-rotated revolution on ice. There's no getting back the quad. There's no getting back the triple axel because she cannot do a triple. First of all, she was never doing a quad or a triple axel. She was doing a triple that we were giving her a pass for a quad and a 2.5 axel that we were giving her a pass for as a triple axel. She can no longer even do that. Her jumps are so pre-rotated that you do not need slow motion to count the full rotation on the ice. And then let's not even talk about these 2 awful programs. Actually, the short program was the less offensive of the 2. That free program, why do you allow Danny G to continue with this madness, Etheri. That did not look good. That was not a good look. Let us be completely honest. Again, we know that the Etheri method only works for bodies that are 66 pounds to 110 pounds. We know this. We know if it wasn't for the international backlash and if it wasn't for the fact that Kamila Valieva is being used for nationalistic propaganda, we would not be seeing her on the ice. She would have gone the exact same path as Alina Zagitova. She would have won her Olympic, did one post-Olympic season, then immediately go to earn E30 40% by being a host on Channel 1. She would not be on the ice competing. The only reason this child is on the ice competing is because she is being used for propaganda. Etheri knows that Valieva will never do a quad again, or even a proper triple that is not one full rotation rotated. She's only doing this for her 40% and because Russia wants to use poor Valieva for the nationalistic propaganda. Again, this was just really hard to watch. And the reason why it was hard to watch is because Kamila Valieva was special. She's still special. There are moments when she does a spin, where she stops, where she extends, where you could see what the skater could have been, where you could see the potential, and it hurts you because that potential was wasted by a group of people that do not care about her. And it is sad to see this child continue on this path because, good God, she could have been a once in a lifetime, a once in a generation skater. But unfortunately, she's just going to be remembered as that drug person. And that is very sad for a skater that could have been so special. Anyhow, I feel like I've ranted enough, but there was so much skating last week and there's going to be so much skating this week. But this was my take on Osaka Junior Grand Prix, Autumn International Classic, Autumn Classic International, as well as the Russian test skate. You guys let me know in the comment your thoughts.